Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to your Monday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show, airing live at 11 a.m. on a Monday. But we are pre-recorded tonight. I do have my work meetings and trainings on Mondays. It's a pretty steady day for me. So graciously, Uncle Buck is willing to record on Sunday night so that we can talk about some college football together. Drew, how you doing tonight, bud?
I'm good. Once a week, I think I can do this. I like the Sunday nights. I've got Minnesota, Atlanta on my laptop in front of me. I'll glance down. I promise to be 100% in the moment with you for this show, but I'm glancing to see the scores and stuff. So I kind of like it every once in a while. Frees up a lunch. I can, maybe get a nap. Tomorrow, I've got a demonstration, an electrical safety demonstration that's a lot of fun that I do like in schools and stuff. And I'm going to like my wife's classroom tomorrow, and I have a guy come in and help me with it. He brings all the fun stuff, the electricity and all the gadgets and gizmos and stuff. And so he'll always treat me to lunch afterwards. So it's worked out perfectly.
I mean, swimmingly. And like I said, I got training tomorrow, so we're knocking this out on Sunday night. I'm in the midst of fighting my allergies from being outside all day yesterday with the show, which we'll get to here in a minute. So y'all got to bear with me if I'm lagging a little bit, it's because I feel like my face is like swollen out to here with all this pollen or whatever's going on. And, it's Memphis, man. It's always something.
Rusty Lagway, as we call him.
Oh, buddy, more to come on that here in just a little bit. But every Monday, we always start the show with the same time waster. And so why be any different today?
That's right, Rusty. It is Monday. It's the very first show of the week, and it's the very first segment of the first show of the week. And that means that we go back to our roots a little bit. We just have some time and talk to each other about our weeks. We're best friends for over a decade, and we live busy lives over the weekends and such. And so we just like to take just 5-10 minutes here at the front to just catch up. And we boil it down to 2 points for y'all's benefit, not ours. Yeah. We call it our best of the week and our biggest beef of the week. We have a sponsor. Tell them about it and to give me the best thing that happened to you this weekend.
Yes, sir. The Buck's Best of Beef of the Week brought to you by Donna's Italian Beef, 519 Constitution Drive in Iuka, Mississippi. Go see Jim and the gang for the best chocolate gravy and biscuits, slug burgers, sack lunch, whatever you need on your way to Pickwick, or if you're visiting the great metropolis of Iuka, Mississippi. There's a great little small Walmart there. It's Jack's, but don't go there. Go to Donna's Italian Beef and get your lunch in a sack. It's a great little spot. They'll take good care of you. Tell them the Buck sent you, and they'll fix you up. So, I've got two best. So my first one, the small one, is nice, Drew. This is kind of, speaking of going back to our roots, like this is how the Two Buck Sports podcast started way back in November of 2022. Me drinking some brown water, us recording at night. You never knew how long it was going to go. Sometimes they were an hour and a half. Most of the time they were 2.5 hour episodes where we would just get on here and we would ramble and yell and argue and marble mouth our way through some episodes. And so tonight's a bit of a throwback. I know we did it last week, but it just like when you're saying going back to our roots, like it kind of hit me that like this is how the Two Bucks truly started.
Yeah, going on year 3. We're a couple months away from year 3. I think our first show was an Egg Bowl recap show, possibly, or maybe a preview and then a recap show. It was a preview of the
Egg Bowl because it was right after our buddy Keith passed away. I got the hot cap back here for him, and it was like right before the Egg Bowl, mid-November 2022 when we started.
So, you want to do your second one?
Yeah, sorry.
You're throwing a wrench in all of our historical. We always have one. I said we boil it down to 2 points, and immediately you say, I've got 3. So go ahead, get your other one out.
This is our show. We can do what we want here. Dadgummit. And so, obviously it's the college game day, the college football Saturday show at Grind City Brewing. Last night as of this recording, Saturday night as you're listening to this, had a great time with Drew and Gabe. It had a good turnout. Crowd was good. It definitely picked up the later the night went. Had some great football, which we'll recap here in a little bit. But it was just fun to be on the mic with you and Gabe and hoot and holler and carry on and get rowdy and have a good time, and it's always a great place to go watch college football. It truly is one of the best venues in Memphis, and y'all need to be there on September 27th when we do our next show.
That's right. It was a ton of fun. I'll piggyback off your best here, and I'll make a half best myself just to supplement what you said. It was really cool being there. This is the first one I was at, and it was a lot of fun. Really good atmosphere there, and to be live. And there's good shows on Bluff City Media. I know that. And I watch all of them. You should too. Yeah. But go check out Gabe. Like, listen, one of us, as we like to chant. Absolutely. The dude's from St. Louis, Missouri, but he feels like he could be from Kossuth, Mississippi. We sat down, never met each other before in our lives, and immediately had just incredible chemistry, and where we were able to yell at each other, and then immediately, turn around and talk our thoughts about football with no hard feelings. Yeah. So it really, really thoroughly enjoyed having Gabe as the third buck yesterday on the Grind City Brewing Company pregame show.
Yeah.
Football show. What are we?
Football show.
Football show.
I mean, it was pregame to the late games. It was a recap of the early games. We got to live react to the ending of the Georgia-Tennessee game, which was probably the best part. That was so much fun. And, Gabe just talks ball. He's on the Bluff on our network. Dude knows ball. Afterwards, he was like, I fully expect you to disagree with Drew, but I disagree with you too right afterwards. And then I disagree with Drew. And we just had it was good. It was three good old boys on the mics having a good time. Make sure y'all come out. Shout out Edward. I know you're in the comments here, buddy. Thank you for coming out and hanging out. It's nice to meet you in person. Jared was there. As always, it was a good turnout. Drew had a cousin that came out. So make sure y'all come out on the 27th for our next show.
Yeah, so I'll keep it quick here. And this is so I've got one grandparent living, and we all grew up at this old country church where, and if you just think about old country church, it's this one. Like there's, somewhere between 8 and 15 people there every single Sunday morning. And listen, my grandma just loves it. She feels like she runs it. Like if she were to leave, then nobody would be there. And so because we had just such a busy weekend, we decided to take a low-key Sunday, and we just went out to her church. And church aside, not that it didn't matter, but watching my grandma just almost go to tears when we walked up into that place was awesome. Yeah. She had so much fun. We went and ate afterwards, and you could tell it made her day. And all credit goes to my wife on that one, because she's the one that thinks romantically about every situation, what makes people happy, and so it wasn't me, but it was cool. So that was my other best of the weekend. It was a nice, easy day here in North Mississippi.
Yeah, love on your grandparents while you still got them. I still got 3 of my 4, so make sure you love on them while you got them.
That's wild, considering you're in your early 40s.
I'm 38, thank you very much, but I am very fortunate. I told Maggie or whoever ends up with me, you better like me because my family lives for freaking ever. So
yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. Yeah. So what's your biggest beef of the week?
Just life, man. Life be lifing sometimes, and it's just always it always feels like, you get some things figured out and then something changes. You get a few things figured out and something changes. And so not going into a ton of details on that, just a lot of details to figure out in the coming months and weeks. And life's going to look a lot different here pretty soon for me, just with trying to, it's well known that I'm on severance pay for 2 more paychecks. In the end, it's off to living on my savings and all that. So, I'm going to be fine.
Ramen noodles.
Yeah. Hot dogs and ramen noodles is what I've always said. And so don't worry about me, buckets. I'm going to be fine. But it's a new venture, and it's plowing new ground that I've never done before. And so it's scary, right? When when you take a step out in faith to bet on yourself, even if it's the right move, which this 1000% is, I have absolutely no doubt about that. It still scares the daylights out of me because I've always been a W-2 salaried employee,
right?
1099 contract now. And so after October 17th, I ain't got paychecks coming in. So got to figure out some stuff. So I'm going to be knocking on y'all's doors to come sponsor our podcast, to come, sponsor the network, because I don't want to go back to a 9 to 5. Because I truly feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing in commercial realty. Just got to figure out how to get there.
Yeah. Hey, I have faith in you. And I know you have faith in yourself. So
for sure,
you'll be fine. You'll be
for
fine.
Sure.
So My biggest beef of the weekend. Nothing's jumping out at me. It's still hot. I mean, we're in September. We're a quarter of the way through the football season, and I feel like it should be a little colder than it is, but it is just brutally hot outside. So, that's mine. I'm just ready. I'll be ready for it to cool down, but when winter gets here, I'll be ready for 90 degrees again. So,
not me, man. Like I've always said, if I could live somewhere that was 55 year round, like jeans and hoodie year round,
that's not winter.
I'd be happy.
I would sign up for that. I'm talking about winter. Like I don't want anything below 55.
I do like a good hard snow. You get 4 or 5 inches, it lasts a day or two, then it's gone. That's fine. But like just something like I love the snow. I got a good taste of it when I lived in Maine for that year, and I just didn't get enough. I've just always loved the snow.
Yeah. So that's our best of beef segment of the week, provided to you via Donna's Italian Eatery and such in Iuka, Mississippi.
Yes,
so
sir.
We're gonna hit a commercial break here, and then we're gonna talk college football. What we all did all weekend long was college football related, and we're going to talk to you about it right after this break.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderland Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code Bluff City for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
Crazy quote from Adam Silver. Let me put out this disclaimer first of all. I am not here to defend Adam Silver. Nope. At all. See, Adam Silver has a lot of things to criticize, especially if you are a Grizzlies fan, because of how he handled the John Morant situation and all these type of things.
Ridiculous.
And just how he's kind of inconsistent with the way he goes about doing things. Adam Silver's kind of became an easy target, especially when you have let's have an all-star game and have rookies playing on Sunday, and he just destroyed the All-Star game last year. It's just this crazy overconsumption he has with the NBA All-Star weekend. It's totally crazy to me. That what he said was tacky as hell, and it sounded absolutely crazy. I know for a fact, man, as a guy who is a bootleg king, who won't pay for none of this shit, I know it's a lot easier to watch this shit now than it was 5 years ago. And I don't see why other people aren't saying the same thing.
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show, your Monday edition of the $2 Sports Show. I hope everybody has got their week off to a good start. Hope you had a good Monday morning. The $2 are here. It is about 11:15 a.m. Starting your lunch break off right if you're starting with us. What do you say?
Absolutely. That's the best place to start is right here, because we are your home for all things college football. Memphis Grizzlies are right around the corner, Drew. We're less than a month away from training camp starting, from media day, and hey, I got some inside information, some intel here. Be on the lookout for some Bluff City Media NBA Media Day coverage. That's all I'm going to say. There's going to be some fun things ahead, a little bit of a teaser, kind of looking forward. But we've got basketball in about 3 weeks. We got training camp started. So media days will be happening like right around like the Monday before preseason starts. So stay tuned to your favorite network, Bluff City Media, for more to come. But Drew, speaking of being a home for college football, we had a wild weekend of college football. We'll start. We're going to go through. We're going to kind of recap all the games. But Uncle Buck and I struggled a little bit this weekend after like a roaring start for me, starting off 6-2 against the spread last week. Not so great for Uncle Buck going 2-6. We both went 3-4 this week, bringing us to 9-6 and 5-10 on the year. And like you said, all the ones that we agreed on, we got wrong. My big wins were I picked Georgia Tech, which I picked that back in August.
Right.
Georgia Tech got the upset, Arkansas covering, and then I picked LSU to cover and then some against Florida, and they did. Your wins being Vanderbilt, which you'll get a victory lap for that here in a little bit, Arkansas, and then picking A&M plus 6.5 to win the nightcap in the heavyweight battle. But we're just getting started. Y'all follow along. Thanks to all of y'all who do vote in our Instagram polls when I post those. Thank y'all for picking teams in that. We always love interactions on our social media pages.
What do we end that line at? What do we call that line at for Arkansas?
6.5.
Okay, so Ole Miss covered.
Oh, they did because they won by
Seven.
7. That's right, won by 7. I thought it was
Yeah. So
because I thought it was 7.5. So I am 8-7, and Drew is
Dang it.
4-11. So we're gonna leave it at 9-6 and 5-10. We like that a whole lot better.
If it's even, if it's fair, it's fair.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, exactly. So no real change there, but we did have a lot of great games. We'll kind of run through the list here on your screen. Starting off, Drew, that Clemson Georgia Tech game was wild. Georgia Tech came out like gangbusters, jumped out to a 2-score lead early in the game, only for Clemson to come back right before the half and kind of get some of the momentum back, and they kind of carried it through most of the second half. But Georgia Tech just kept hanging around, and it goes back to what you and I talk about all the time, and it's a quarterback that is used to the system, that's been in the system, and Haynes King has been there for 3 years. Led him in passing with 211 yards passing, 103 yards rushing. Just it was in complete control of the offense, and things looked dicey. Georgia Tech went up 21-14 in the fourth quarter. Clemson tied it, was driving, had plenty of opportunity to win the game, couldn't figure it out, gave Georgia Tech too much time, and just an incredible fire drill to be able to get the ball down, swap out the units. The field goal kicker runs on and kicks a game-winning field goal as time expired. A 55-yarder, new career long. Shout out to the Ramblin' Wreck for getting a major upset and forcing Clemson to 1-2 on this young season.
Listen, if you want to perfectly execute a fire drill for a game-winning field goal, it helps a lot to have the mind of an engineer. So that's all I'm going to say. This is all processes. This is all analytics. This is all being on top of your P's and Q's. And no one does that better than engineers.
It's hard to argue with it. It truly is.
So
I'll say this too. Last thing about it, they had the best uniforms of the day because they were the all white, which is the gold trim, and even the inside of the Georgia Tech was white. They everything was just outlined. I'm a sucker for a crispy all white uniform, and Georgia Tech crushed it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to say that anytime Clemson wears the purple, they deserve to lose. It is the worst uniform in football. Listen, there's not a lot you can do with orange, but their shade of orange is fine. It looks good on a white jersey and, orange letters. Dude, get away from that purple. That stuff is disgusting, and you deserve to lose. You lose the uniform battle, and when you walk onto the field and you see somebody looking as clean as Georgia Tech did, then you just played as if you were inferior, whether you were or not. I did pick Clemson. I thought talent would win out. Georgia Tech wasn't sneaking up on Clemson. We picked the Miami-South Florida game. We both picked South Florida because we thought that South Florida was a bulldog. But what turns out, the same thing was true. What was true in that game was that South Florida was not sneaking up on Miami because they just went to Gainesville and won. I thought that Georgia Tech wouldn't sneak up on Clemson, but listen, Georgia Tech may just be that good. I said it on the show yesterday on the college football show that I don't know if I'm ready to buy in totally on Haynes King and Georgia Tech, but they've got all the momentum. They're in a conference that's very weak in the middle. And so, yeah, there's no reason at this point right now to where I would just totally count them out of the playoffs. Like, I think they should be equal favorites right now with Miami in the ACC and Florida State.
Yep, absolutely. So Clemson, it was their first time to wear the purple jersey since 2008 against Maryland. Their first time to wear them on the road.
Spiller says, what's up?
The first time they wore them on the road since 2003, also against Georgia Tech. But the wideout worked. Georgia Tech gets a signature win early. They have a very, very favorable schedule ahead of them.
They're playing the ACC.
Yeah, the next ranked team they play is Georgia Bulldogs the last weekend of the season. And so Georgia Tech usually wins 7 or 8 games. They usually kind of screw around. They avoid Miami in the regular season. They got a very favorable draw. They have a very favorable draw. Like, Georgia Tech is on the inside track to running the table along with Miami. They play at, like, their toughest games. They play at Duke, which is not that formidable.
They just lost at Tulane.
At Tulane. They got Pitt at home, who just lost to West Virginia, who lost to Ohio. So, like, their schedules, and then they play Virginia Tech, who is one of the 2 schools who fired their 0-3 coach this morning. And so, as of this recording yesterday, along with UCLA, their schedule is very, very favorable. They play a Temple Owls team who Oklahoma beat to sleep over the weekend, next weekend. And so, Georgia Tech has, like, the inside lane.
Yeah, so I'm curious to know, we've done these lines before. If you've got FanDuel pulled up, if not, we can come back to it later. I'd love to know what you could get like a 11-1 odds at for Georgia Tech right now. Because, listen, and the reason why I don't totally buy in on Georgia Tech is because they always kind of lose a clunker to keep them 1 win away from the ACC championship game. And they always upset somebody, but, you always lose a clunker. So almost the home win against Clemson was par for the course. It was an easy game to pick as an upset because you see it every single year. What you also see every single year is them getting upset by Boston College or some Wake Forest team, or So the story's not written, but the schedule's there for them to go 11-1.
Yeah, so you can't get any more like odds on winning games. Those are shut down for the year. But they are now in second position. Miami is plus 155 to win the ACC. Georgia Tech is plus 370. And then Clemson and Florida State are both plus 600. Simply because Florida State and Miami, for that matter, both of them have tougher schedules ahead of them because they still have some ranked opponents. Florida, who we're going to talk about in about 10 seconds, along with having to play Florida State, Miami, they have to play each other. So their schedules are a bit I would imagine that Georgia Tech's got the shortest odds to make the ACC championship game, though, because of the schedule. Yeah, I would buy that 100%.
Any ACC team that starts 3-0 with a win against Clemson and doesn't play Miami and Florida State,
you got a really good shot. As he sneezes, you got a really good shot.
Right.
So, Drew, it's time to have a conversation. I asked you this earlier. I'm going to ask you again. Are you ready to say that DJ Lagway may not be the quarterback that you and Gabe thought he was, or are you still wanting to be wrong?
No, I'm not ready to say that because I did not ever say that he was going to be amazing right now. Like, I think he's good. He's always how many times have I came on this show and talked about needing reps? He needs reps. He had a horrible game.
Go back to the College Football Saturday clip where Gabe and Drew were yelling over me, telling me how wrong I was about DJ Lagway and how he's going to have a monster game Saturday night, only for him to throw 5 picks, get absolutely embarrassed by an elite defense. I mean, again, LSU might have the best defense in the country. They probably have the best linebacking core in the country, and 7/8 of them are Weeks kids.
But we don't care about that. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like Harold Perkins is playing college football, and Harold Perkins is playing football. Your defense is going to be elite. And so LSU just absolutely took care of business on Saturday night in Death Valley. It was cute. Florida hung with them early, but in that second half, LSU just absolutely imposed their will. Again, picking off DJ Lagway 5 times and just taking care of business, Drew.
I'm not out on DJ Lagway. I do not think this is an Anthony Richardson situation, and that's what you've got in your head.
I do.
I know you do. And I think you're wrong about that. I think by the time that DJ Lagway is a draft prospect, like going into the draft, teams are going to fall in love with him. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got every measurable you can think of, and he will only get better.
Anthony Richardson. Same
No,
thing.
Anthony Richardson started 7 games in college. So, no, you're wrong about that. That is an absolute deal breaker for me, and it was when Anthony Richardson was coming out of Florida. Yeah. I was out on him then, and I was out on him when he got drafted by Indianapolis at number 5. I thought it was stupid. Yep. Do not let DJ Lagway pay for the sins of the Indianapolis Colts. Because the Indianapolis Colts are as poor of a run of a franchise as you can.
I'm not saying anything about like I'm just making the comparison that he's an athletic quarterback who is very inaccurate and makes very poor decisions. Everybody knows who he's throwing the football to. If you watch him, every single person knows where the football is going. He telegraphs it really badly. He's going to get embarrassed this weekend against Miami. They get a bye week, and then they got Texas again, and that Texas defense is going to eat his lunch. He's just not good.
There's
not good.
I think he's going to be fine. I do. I think he's going to be fine. And I'm going to stay on that. I haven't seen enough. Listen, I watched Matt Corral throw 7 interceptions in a game. And you've got to have reps to play in college football and be successful. No, I was not calling him Heisman. There were lots of people that were calling him Heisman. Those people need to back off. Where I was standing with DJ Lagway is not where Rusty is accusing me of standing, calling him Heisman and number 1 at first overall pick. I'm just holding stock. That's all it is. This didn't dissuade me any because I've always been the guy that's like, you need reps. You absolutely need reps to be good. Florida's not a contender. I didn't pick him to be a contender, and I didn't pick DJ Lagway to be a Heisman this year. But you get him through the end of next year, and I think he's going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL. And is that a lot of NFL always takes quarterbacks? Like, you've got to have quarterbacks. You're going to take a shot with DJ Lagway? Yes. But he is good. He's got the mindset. He's got the makeup. He'll be fine. And listen, I feel like you should give like 30% of your credit away because you said LSU by 90, and despite the fact that DJ Lagway threw 5 picks, they scored 20 points and won by 10 at home at night.
Yeah, I mean, again, like
give 30% of your credit away. Be honest.
It wasn't a perfect game by LSU, but they still took care of business. Y'all were calling for an upset, and I knew that wasn't going to happen.
No, I called for a cover.
I also think that by the time Florida plays Georgia on Saturday, November the 1st, that Florida's experimenting with their freshman 4-star quarterback. I don't know.
There's no chance.
Because there's
no chance.
They've got Miami, they got Texas, they got Texas A&M, they got a revamped Mississippi State team, then they've got Georgia. I don't see it with DJ Lagway. Like, I'm not saying he is Anthony Richardson. Like, I'm like tongue in cheek saying that. He's just not like, he has shown me nothing that tells me he's going to be a good SEC quarterback because he makes poor decisions and he telegraphs every single pass. Like, you know exactly where it's going, man.
Well, I'll tell you this. You saying that you are so far out on DJ Lagway that you're going to try a 4-star freshman is a much hotter take than me saying I'm holding my stock. You realize that, right? Like, DJ Lagway has the potential to be a generational talent, and Billy Napier is on the hot seat, and in large part, a large part of the reason why he still has a job is because DJ Lagway stayed with him. Like, it was a DJ Lagway, Billy Napier couple. And so there's zero chance that DJ Lagway is going to be on the bench this year. It's stupid. It's a stupid take. It's
not. Billy Napier is going to panic and going to have to do everything he can to save his job. And he may not even have his job at that point. And if not, then this conversation's moot. But last season in 2024, across 192 attempts, DJ Lagway threw 9 interceptions. As you go in college football, you should progress, not regress, right? Yeah. So in 192 attempts, he threw 9 interceptions. So far this year, in 100 attempts, he's thrown 6 interceptions already. His average length of pass last year was 10 yards. It's just right at 6 this year. He's got 5 touchdowns in 100 attempts and 6 interceptions. We're going the wrong way.
I'll listen to an argument. I didn't get to watch a lot of that game because it was right in the middle of the Ole Miss Arkansas game. I was driving back. I need to do some more homework on it and watch it. But I can be convinced that Billy Napier's offense sucks. Like, we've been here. We've seen the experiment. I'm not going to say that Billy Napier's like an elite offensive mind. So does a change of coach change things? Is he being limited? Possibly. I'm just buying in on the person, the talent, and I'm not selling. I'm not buying. I'm definitely not selling.
Yeah. Well, again, I've seen enough of DJ Lagway to know that he is not a generational.
And you owe the
talent.
people 30% of the game that you won there because you said LSU by 90, they won by 10.
But hey, they won.
They covered by 2.5 points.
They won and
2.5 points.
That's better than the takes of my co-host on the College Football Saturday show. Again, like I said in my monologue, dreams of comebacks go. Your dreams die in Death Valley, and that's what happened Saturday night. Florida, like they're reeling. Billy Napier needs to start looking for his next coordinator job.
That's probably true.
Sticking to the SEC, we had an absolute thriller in Neyland Stadium on Saturday, Drew, that we got to live react to as Tennessee missed the field goal, setting up overtime with Georgia for Georgia to come out on top 44-41. They won their 9th in a row against the Vols. Like, I keep hearing like Kirby Smart just keeps spotting Tennessee more and more points each year just to see how much he can come back and crush their souls.
Yeah, this was an absolute barn burner, which I didn't expect. I was thinking, you've got a Joey Aguilar who has turned out to be really good, but we weren't totally sold on him versus Gunnar Stockton at Georgia, who they've yet to let him throw the ball downfield. Well, it turns out that both these quarterbacks were going to be amazing downfield threats, going to be physical runners, which we did know that about Gunnar Stockton. And we were going to have just a 44-41 overtime game in Neyland Stadium last night. It was absolutely electric. And I'll be honest with you, I was keeping up with that game as it started. And we both have mutual Tennessee fans, BFLs. And I found myself just kind of being in the camp of Tennessee because Nico went 0-3. That was their guy. They came in and got the guy who was being replaced by Nico, and now they're going to go beat Georgia, which they've never been able to do in the last 8 years. And so I was kind of buying in. I was kind of being like, you know what, good for them, because I know, like, I joke. I do like to see my friends have fun. Like, I'm going to get my jokes off when Mississippi State, beats Arizona State and say that the road through Birmingham goes through Starkville, and I'm getting my jokes off, but I was genuinely happy for you, and it was fun. I like my friends. And honestly,
you're not wrong, because like our ceiling is the Birmingham Bowl. Like, you're not wrong.
Yeah. And so I was kind of getting on board with Tennessee getting the win last night. But then Tennessee started to happen. And Georgia, a lot of credit to Georgia, man. They can win any way that they want. You thought Gunnar Stockton was a physical between the tackles quarterback, and he just threw the ball downfield. Beautiful passes, clutch passes in big situations. And then Tennessee had a chance to win it. And listen, you go back and watch the college football show. There's a clip on x.com, Bluff City Media. Check it out, where we react live to that. And the most brutal false start of the weekend, only the second most brutal, and Patrick Jones gets one back because the Indianapolis Colts had another brutal, was the beneficiary of a brutal
by Denver.
What would they call it? Leverage penalty. It was a 15-yard penalty on a missed kick. Got him to re-kick. Listen, a false start penalty on 4th down with 7 seconds to go in the game, and all you've got to do is kick a field goal to win it, tie ball game, and you get a false start
it's the most
at
Tennessee
home.
Thing ever.
At
it's
home,
the most Tennessee thing ever.
And then push it. And then you get the ball first in overtime, kick a field goal, and it's just like, pack it up. Like the Georgia, let your band start playing, start stowing stuff away. You know they're going to score a touchdown there.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like for all the crap talking I'm doing about DJ Lagway, I was wrong about Joey Aguilar. I did not have any expectations of being what he is.
Everybody was.
For the last 2 years in Heupel's offense, he's had guys that could throw to an area, because like Milton and Hooker weren't overly accurate. They threw it to a general area. Aguilar's throwing it to spots. Like, that dude is accurate.
Well,
he makes crisp throws. He had 371 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 INTs against Georgia. But like what he showed is this is the first time that I've seen Josh Heupel has a quarterback who can actually hit marks. And I think it's going to, as the season goes on, I think it's going to open up more of Heupel's playbook. This is a Tennessee. This is a brutal loss. Mississippi State has been a trendy pick for us to upset Tennessee. I don't see it. Like, I just think Tennessee is very, very talented, very, very good. And it starts with Joey Aguilar being better than everybody thought.
Yeah, you've got short-term memory loss when it comes to the accuracy problems at Tennessee because Nico was dead on the money. Yes, he had a hard time seeing pressure, but if you gave him a clean pocket, he was surgical.
I just got so caught up just because he made some just boneheaded decisions. He also made just terrible decisions, and I kind of lumped that into accuracy.
Reps. I'll keep on saying this, and so, listen, it's impossible for a Tennessee fan to feel good about this. Like, you can't get a moral victory at losing that game at home to make it 9 straight losses against Georgia. And I don't know where you go from here. I don't know who Tennessee's got next week, but you just...
It's a warm-up before they play Mississippi State.
Okay. Yeah, well, you really... Who's Mississippi State a warm-up for?
They play UAB at 11:45 before traveling to Starkville next week. Yeah, the fighting Trent Dilfer. Yeah.
So there's just no good way to answer this. You just got to go and play.
Yep. But speaking of going and playing, we had yet another epic game with 2 I call perennial disappointments because that's what they are. But this game was anything but a disappointment. You had the fighting Texas Aggies get their first consequential win on the road since Drew and I have been driving, essentially, and like just a massive win at Notre Dame. They took Notre Dame's best shot. Georgia fell behind to Tennessee 3 times and came back and won that game. And A&M did the same exact thing. It felt like all night long. The deck was stacked against them, but they kept punching up. And they got a 41-40 win late into the night on Saturday, Drew. Just an absolute epic win for Mike Elko, one that you got right and I got wrong because I thought that Notre Dame would be able to control the line of scrimmage, and I was not accurate about that.
Yeah, well, let's see. We talked about this game on Friday when we were picking it, and one of the things it says, like, I feel like we need to see one more game from both of these teams before we know what to do here, and so we kind of left it up. And I made the comment that, a lot of times, like I've said today, you were letting DJ Lagway pay for the sins of Anthony Richardson. As a public, we are still letting Jimbo Fisher dictate what we think about Mike Elko's Texas A&M team. We all know Mike Elko as a defensive coach, hard-nosed guy, and that I believe he raises the floor. Do I necessarily think they're going to compete for national championships? No, but he raises the floor. And they went into Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana last night, held their own. Marcel Reed, 4th down, 4th and goal, no time left, able to escape the pocket, lob it up to a tight end that he never throws the ball to. They called him a blocking tight end, but got out on a wheel route, made a good move in one-on-one coverage, came down with it on the road. When your last name is
Boerkircher, or however you say it, you're a blocking tight end, brother.
Listen, you are white for one, and therefore you are a blocking tight end. And listen, props to Marcel Reed. We didn't think this was going to be a high-scoring game, just like the Tennessee game was. We didn't think these were going to be high-scoring games, but they matched them anyways. Marcel Reed was really good, really, really good. And you know what this game was decided by? Former Alabama quarterback Buckner. What was his first name? Billy Buckner.
Ty Buckner. I think it's
Ty Buckner, but he's basically Billy Buckner though because he fumbled the snap on the extra point. Allows Texas A&M to win by 1. Yeah.
So Notre Dame took the lead 5 different times, and they kept fighting back. Marcel Reed was the story, as was former Mississippi State transfer Mario Craver, had 207 yards receiving on 7 catches. Super Mario. I guess he's 7 for 207 and a touchdown. You're right, because even on our show on Friday, we were picking these games. I was just like, Drew, I don't have anybody written down. I don't know who to pick. And I went with the Irish because I thought they had the more experienced O-line and Jeremiah Love. And I thought it would be a low-scoring game that they could control the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The thing turned into a former Big 12. It's a Big 12 matchup where defense was optional.
Yeah. It was a wild game. It was one that I would love to go back and watch in its entirety. Listen, they did such a poor job of scheduling these football games. I know it's up to the networks, but there were 5 games that I wanted to keep up with yesterday. 4 of them were at 6:30.
Yeah. But A&M overcame 13 penalties last night to get that big win. Next up, as we kind of go through this one a little bit quicker so we can camp out a little bit. I know you want to talk about Ole Miss, Arkansas, and me and State, but Vanderbilt goes to Williams-Brice, upset South Carolina 31-7 in a game that wasn't even that close. Like, just Vanderbilt absolutely imposed their will. Lenore Sellers did get knocked out with a concussion. He had a big old pop knot come up on his noggin when he got knocked out. But Diego Pavia finished with 177 yards passing. His favorite tight end, Stowers, had 45 yards receiving for him. It was an ugly football game. South Carolina had 4 turnovers, which was the story of the night. Vanderbilt pulled away late and won this one 31-7. Drew, Diego Pavia has Vanderbilt playing really good football and undefeated in the SEC.
Listen, they entered the AP poll finally. I went on record last week. We talked about the AP poll saying it was stupid that they have not been ranked yet because what other resumes do you need to see? Nobody's got a good resume. Now they've got a road SEC win against a top 15 team. I was not high on South Carolina, not as high as you were. I was extremely high on Vanderbilt. When you take into consideration like what we expect, I was high based on perception. I think. Yeah. Big fan of Diego Pavia. Big fan of Clark Lee. I just think they've got the makeup to go into a place and play another night game at 6:30. Go into Williams-Brice Stadium at 6:30. Listen to Enter Sandman, and is that right? No, it's not Enter Sandman.
No, it's Sandstorm.
Sandstorm. Okay, you can see how I got that mixed up. And not care in the slightest about nerves or anything. He's a psycho. Diego Pavia is psychotic. We all know this. Watch any given Saturday. That's the only thing you'll come away with is that Diego Pavia is a psycho. And I want him running. He played psycho ball. Absolutely.
I want him at quarterback.
He is like Baker Mayfield if Baker Mayfield had a substance abuse problem. Like he's come out the other side of a substance abuse problem.
He's a great value Baker Mayfield is what he is, 100%.
He's crackhead Baker Mayfield.
Listen, there's a real shot that Vanderbilt goes into the Alabama game in 3 weeks undefeated because they've got Georgia State and Utah State ahead. And there's a real good chance that they go into the Alabama game 5-0, which is wild to talk about.
They're currently sitting at 3-0 with wins on the road at Virginia Tech, which looks not as good now, but it's still historically a hard place to play in Blacksburg.
They got boat raced by Old Dominion. Shout out Keith Scott. They got boat raced.
Well, we need to circle back to that. Then they go to Columbia, South Carolina, and win. And so now you're getting rewarded now with 2 home games now against teams that aren't very good. Yes, they're going to be 5-0.
And then it gets real because then you got Alabama, LSU, Missouri, Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee to finish out the year. But you go into the Alabama game 5-0 and just let Diego Pavia magic happen. You just never know. Man.
Yeah, we got to come up with a good nickname for that.
Yeah, I meant to say this a second ago. Another candidate for best uniforms of the day was the all whites by A&M, where they had the script Aggies on the white helmet. Just looks so clean, looks so good. It was I love that. Look good.
Yeah, it looked good for maroon.
Anyway, I knew you were gonna say that. All right,
I just don't think it's a good color.
We've got Arkansas, Ole Miss, and yet another wild game. Ole Miss gets the win late, 41-35, being the final. Ole Miss didn't cover. I was right earlier. They didn't cover. They won by 6.
They won by 6. Okay,
yeah,
my apologies.
Thank you.
Yeah, because Arkansas missed 2 field goals, or they would have. It would have been 41-41. That's right.
So you had a backup quarterback. I'll say my little piece and I'll get out of the way. You had a backup quarterback that started for Ole Miss, and all he did was throw it all over the yard, going 21 of 29. Like a wildly accurate 353 yards for Trinidad and Tobago. Chambliss, Taylon Green had 305. He didn't have a terrible night either, but Ole Miss just absolutely rallied behind the backup quarterback. Austin Simmons came out and threw 1 pass and completed it just for the haters, I guess. But Ole Miss with a very convincing win. No picks. That's the biggest thing. No picks. No turnovers for Ole Miss. And Ole Miss gets the big home win, Drew. They're now 2-0 in SEC play. The only 2-0 SEC team.
Yeah, first place. Listen, I've got thoughts. Listen, for starters, of course this game was going to be stupid. Okay, Ole Miss starting a backup quarterback. You think low scoring. I said Arkansas would cover, Ole Miss would win, and the under was in play. The under was not in play. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. We could play offensive lineman at quarterback. When Ole Miss plays Arkansas, you're going to get close to the 70s when in the over-under. Get close to 80. It ended up being 76 was the team totals. And so, listen, Trinidad Chambliss was really good. He was really good. You gave his stat line. He was poised. You could tell he was seasoned. You know, he was a 3-year starter at Ferris State. And listen, he was there for the moment. He rushed the ball really well. He was very physical. You didn't give his rushing yards. He led the team in rushing, 15 attempts for 62 and 2 touchdowns with a long of 17. He was really good. He was really good. I am not clamoring for him to be the starting quarterback just because he doesn't at the downfield. We talk about that downfield like Georgia and Tennessee showed that they had this week. Ole Miss has a lot of weapons at wide receiver. You need to be able to stretch the field, and Austin Simmons has a cannon for an arm. I'm still clamoring from Austin Simmons. The problem, so you made mention of Austin Simmons' 3 plays at quarterback. He got in today because Trinidad Chambliss took, on his follow through on a pass, hit a helmet and gashed open his right thumb, his throwing hand, and so he had to seek some medical attention. Austin Simmons was dressed to play. He was available. He was obviously considered the backup, but he was extremely limited. They did not want to play him. It was very clear, and they must have had some confidence in his physical abilities because on a 3rd and short inside the red zone there, inside the 10, 15-yard line, they let him run a zone read. He got the first down, and then he threw a touchdown. But he went to the sidelines and hit the ground behind the band who had already lined up along the side of the sideline there, on the backside of the sideline, getting ready for the halftime show. I'm scared he aggravated it. And made it worse. I don't know what this injury is. They're obviously not going to say what the injury is. They're very hockey style with their injury reports. Lower leg. It's I was always under the assumption this was a low ankle sprain, which you can deal with. Whatever it was, he didn't get pain meds before the game apparently, and he aggravated it pretty bad. And I'm a fan of Austin Simmons. I think if you're going to win big, 8, 9, 10 games this year for Ole Miss, you need Austin Simmons to be your quarterback. And because he played in that one drive and you ran him that one time, I'm a little nervous about what's going to happen if he's going to be able to play at home against LSU in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because you're going to need all hands on deck for that game. Big win for Ole Miss. It's nice to know that you have that backup for Austin Simmons if he goes down like this. Of high school catfish fame, Ferris State.
Yeah. We need to mention. I called Rusty, blew his mind last night. Nobody had ever heard of Ferris State before you watched that high school catfish documentary on Netflix. They kind of set the world on fire a couple weeks ago.
It's how you and I haven't talked about that yet. That we've watched that as wild because that is the wildest documentary I think I've ever seen.
It's very unsettling to me. I don't even know why I watched it.
I sum it up like this. I saw something that said, it had the picture of the mom and it said, somebody posted on Facebook and it said, "Good morning to everybody but this heifer." And that perfectly sums it up.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm scared that Austin Simmons is not going to be ready. I'll be interested to see injury reports. I know Lane Kiffin, I think, probably talks to the media tomorrow. That'll definitely be a question that's asked. And listen, Ole Miss has got Tulane coming to town. Tulane is undefeated.
No joke.
They just beat Duke at home. The quarterback who left Tulane to go to Duke for an $8 million contract.
Yes. And he lost to his former squad.
Yeah, and then they go and get the former BYU, Jake Retzlaff, from BYU, and they are awesome. I said coming into it, I said Ole Miss last week had Kentucky, and then they had Arkansas, which I believe was a step up, and I said Tulane was probably a step up from Arkansas. There's nothing so far that makes me think otherwise, and it really stinks that Austin Simmons isn't going to be healthy. But I think if he's not 100%, seeing how he obviously re-injured it Saturday, then I think you have to go Trinidad Chambliss again against Tulane. Roll the dice a little bit because you have to have a healthy Austin Simmons, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the only way that Ole Miss is going to truly run the table in the SEC and be competitive is with their guys. So I'll be quick. I mean, it was a bloodbath. Mississippi State, they decided to do a running clock and 10-minute quarters of the second half. Mississippi State wins 63-0. Blake Shapen had a day. It was good to see Kamario Taylor get in and get some reps. He's our freshman phenom quarterback. Yeah. He's going to be the future. That kid is hella athletic, got a big arm, he is the future of the program. And he loves Jeff Lebby. And so that's what always makes me nervous, with these phenom quarterbacks. We have Michael Van Buren, who played a lot last year with Blake Shapen being out. He transfers to LSU. But Kamario Taylor and his family are all in on Jeff Lebby. I think we'll back up the armored truck to do whatever we can to keep him here. But Kamario Taylor is the future of this program. Fluff Bothwell, the guy we got from South Alabama, had a big day yesterday, ran for 93 yards. Dominated every phase of the game. We scored 17 seconds into the game on the second play of the game, 75-yard touchdown. It was what it was. It's a cupcake game that everybody plays. We got ours out of the way. We got Northern Illinois next week before we play Tennessee. It's a good win for Mississippi State because a Zach Arnett team would never score 63 points. And I also going to throw one last little shot in there. Our offensive guru, former head coach Joe Moorhead, who loves to talk crap about Mississippi State since he's been gone. The Akron Zips, where he is the head coach, dead last in points scored in the NCAA. Miss me with your crap talking on podcast,
buddy. That was 3 head coaches ago.
I know, but I'm saying, this season, he was on a podcast 3 weeks ago and still was well, Mississippi State did me, blah blah blah. You had the best defense in the country, you couldn't score. But anyway, that's our college football talk for the week.
Well, hold on, I got a couple things. One. I'm so glad we're going to a 9-game SEC schedule. There's no reason why. This is playing Alcorn State, why it may be a tune-up game, healthy game, an easy win, whatever. It's a disservice to fans. Nobody wants to watch that. And then you played it at night too, which was
and it's not something Mississippi State. That's what all SEC programs do.
Well, it's not a Mississippi State take. I'm not hating. Right. It's just it's a disservice to fans. I don't like it. Yeah. I don't like it for anybody. I would rather see 10 or 11 really competitive games in which you may lose 1 or 2 extra.
Right.
As long as strength of schedule matters for the College Football Playoff Committee, I want no part of seeing Mississippi State play Alcorn State. I don't want to see Ole Miss playing Georgia State. I don't want any part of it. It's stupid.
I agree.
So,
but that's college football for today. We're going to wrap the show up really quick, getting you ready for Monday Night Football. The first game being the Buccaneers at the Texans. Drew, Baker Mayfield leads the Bucs out to Houston. The Texans are a 2.5-point home favorite. The line literally just moved on FanDuel. The over-under was at 44.5. It just dropped to 42.5. The money's kind of moving that line down a little bit. But I got a couple props up here for you, Drew. If you had to take on the passing over-under, are you taking Baker Mayfield at 235.5 or C.J. Stroud at 229.5? Who are you taking to go over more likely, Mayfield or Stroud?
Listen, I've always been a Baker fan. I love him. I love the style in which he plays. I love his arrogance and that he just throws the ball deep. I love Mike Evans. I try to get him every year. He Mr. 1000 in the NFL. He's an Iron Man, deep threat. Emeka Buka has had an incredible start to the season as a rookie. I like the weapons. I like that Bucky Irving is a really good pass catching back out of the backfield. So just when I'm talking about who I like more and the weapons I like more, the Buccaneers check both boxes. I'd take Baker Mayfield.
Absolutely. Same. And this is a big game for us in fantasy tomorrow night because Drew and I are playing in fantasy football this weekend. He is going to walk away with the win unless Baker Mayfield just has an incredible game. Along with, I have a Marion Hampton in the late game, which we'll talk about that here in a minute. You have Bucky Irving playing tomorrow night. So I need Baker to throw it all over the yard to everybody but Bucky Irving.
Right. And
speaking of anytime touchdowns, we've got Nick Chubb minus 110. He's the most likely player to score for either team tomorrow night at minus 110. Then you've got Bucky Irving at plus 120 and Mike Evans at plus 140. I feel like any of those guys can get you a touchdown, Drew. I just on FanDuel, you can go on there and they've got same game parlays. They cook up some parlays for you. If you want to use some of those, go to FanDuel.com. You still got time before kickoff tonight. I took this one. Tampa Bay to win on the money line, Houston to lead at the end of the first half, CJ Stroud and Baker Mayfield over 1.5 touchdowns. I feel like both of them have a chance to throw some touchdowns. I like Tampa Bay to win. Give me a first half money line on the Texans. I like that at plus 2387 on the odds.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reasoning that goes into this. You have no idea who's first half tendencies for the Houston Texans. Like,
no, it's just that's a crapshoot. It's one
you're trying to see if the spaghetti's cooked. You know how to see if spaghetti's cooked. You throw it at the wall.
You throw it at the wall.
That's what you're
Absolutely.
doing.
And speaking of throwing it at the wall, the Chargers go to Las Vegas on the back half. We have a doubleheader tonight in Monday Night Football. The Chargers travel to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. The Chargers are a 3-point road favorite. Drew, if you had to right now, if you had to pick based on how the season's going so far, Geno's had kind of a career resurgence under Pete Carroll. He's playing really great. Ashton Genty's been good so far. Who would you take here? Chargers -3 or the Raiders?
Well, I tell you what, I'm a big fan of the Chargers. They had a very convincing win week 1 against the Kansas City Chiefs. But then the Kansas City Chiefs just went and lost again on Sunday at home to the Philadelphia Eagles. Their offense kind of looks watered down. So, listen, I don't know. Listen, I'm a fan of the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert. I like Jim Harbaugh. I've got stock in Omar and Hampton in a couple leagues. I will be rooting for the Chargers. Keenan Allen is one of my favorite fantasy football players of all time.
Ever.
But it did give me pause. And if I was a betting man, you're getting primetime football, and you've got 2 road favorites here. If you want a little money line parlay, just take the home teams on both of them as underdogs and see what happens. I'd like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got in the first one we got passing because you got Baker and CJ who can throw it all over the yard. These are 2 run-heavy teams, especially a Jim Harbaugh offense, Drew. You got Omarion Hampton, the rookie out of North Carolina, at 56.5 on the over-under on the rushing yards, and then Ashton Genty sitting at 68.5. So both rookies, both guys have big potential, and both are in very favorable situations because both of these head coaches like to run the football. And Jim Harbaugh, he always runs that pro style, run it down your throat, run first option. And then Pete Carroll has always got that bruising back, right? Marshawn Lynch, and he had Curtis Martin back in the day. Like, he's had running backs that he can rely on, and Ashton Genty's been that for him so far.
Yeah, I like both of those. Running totals are much lower now than they've used to be. So much is predicated on running backs catching the ball, spread offenses, stuff like that. Ashton Genty is a bell cow. He can tote the rock. I saw I didn't see the final number, but in the fourth quarter, Saquon Barkley was in the mid-20s when it comes to just carries for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is an astronomical number these days. Yeah. Ashton Genty has the potential to have that many carries.
Yep. Absolutely. So. And he is the odds-on favorite for an anytime touchdown. I didn't put him and Omarion Hampton on here because they both had minus odds. Omarion Hampton is minus 120. Ashton Genty is minus 110. So Hampton's the odds-on favorite. Ashton Genty right behind him at minus 110. But then you got your next 4 being Lab McConkey from the Chargers at plus 135, Brock Bowers plus 150, Jacoby Myers, and then our boy, because he's one of my favorites. I've always tried to get Keenan Allen every league.
Mr. PPR.
Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston both at plus 250 anytime touchdown tomorrow night if you want to win a little money on FanDuel.
Is Brock Bowers going to play? You need to verify that before you make a bet on Brock Bowers. He is questionable.
I think I saw
they're
where
playing
he was
the latest game,
probable.
But it really stinks for fantasy purposes too. Because if you are the tight end owner to Brock Bowers, you picked him in the second, third, or fourth round in your fantasy football draft in typical 10, 12 team leagues, and because he's playing at a 9 p.m. kickoff, you are making a decision to live or die because there are no other options if he does not play. If he is a game time scratch, you have no other options other than whoever the backup is for the Raiders.
So I'm playing my cousin in the family league, and he has Brock Bowers, and he did not go pick up Michael Mayer is the number 2 tight end for the Raiders.
That's actually a pretty good pick. First round pick this year. He's a rookie.
Yeah, not bad. And so Michael Mayer is the contingency option. If you are playing fantasy, he's probably available in your league. But at this point, if you hadn't picked him up by now, you ain't going to drop Brock Bowers for him. So you're just going to take that 0 and call it a day, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but that's going to do it for our football talk today. We're going to come back tomorrow. We got the AP poll to talk about. We're going to tease a little bit of college football playoffs. I sent Drew something earlier. On3 has released a college football playoff after this season ended today. What that looks like. So we're going to talk through that tomorrow.
Andy Staples list.
Yeah, that's who always does the list. So come hang out with us tomorrow. We're going to be talking college football. We're going to figure out some other fun buffoonery that we're going to get into, Drew. And again, what another great weekend of football as we head into our work week on Monday, sir.
That's right. This is the best time of the year, and it's not even close. So listen, go buy stock in DJ Lagway. Feel free.
You want to be wrong. You want to be wrong.
If you want to sell at a massive loss, I will buy. I'm all good on buying cheap because I'm still in.
Listen, man. It's like everybody reserves the right to be wrong. Drew is just exercising his right here in front of all of y'all.
And listen, and nobody likes to put his opinion in stone quicker than Rusty does. So hey, dial on that heel.
That's
we
fine.
still got a year and a half of football to watch.
Roll with the guys. I'm running 9-6 right now against the spread. Y'all fade Drew. Let's just put it that way.
Irrelevant to this conversation at all.
So, just trust the ball knower. That's gonna do it for our Monday edition of the $2 Sports Show. Y'all make sure y'all are back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll be back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central, right here on Bluff City Media's YouTube page. If you hung out with us on X, come to YouTube, hang out in the comments. I know we've got King Meeks and Edward and Wayno and probably some new faces and all the guys that hang out here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us. Be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. In the meantime, go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2 Sports Show, you always get what you pay for. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.